In his book, Jesus of Nazareth, Pope Benedict XVI tells a very fascinating story. It's a story about a Jewish scholar. It seems this Jewish scholar was brought up by Christian friends and became deeply respectful of Christianity, and above all, respectful of Jesus. The scholar's own book is entitled A Rabbi Talks with Jesus. And in that story, he tells how he pictures himself in Jesus' company, listening to him, watching him, accompanying him on the way to Jerusalem, even engaging him in conversation. He joins the crowd, for example, that gathers around Jesus as he is about to deliver that Sermon on the Mount. In his imagination, that rabbi would have heard the very words we just heard in today's gospel. His reaction? He is both attracted, but also troubled. Attracted to the purity and loftiness of Jesus' teachings, and yet at the same time troubled. Troubled because he sees that Jesus is claiming equality with God. And for such a pious Jew, that seems a blasphemous pretension. Unfortunately, in the end, the rabbi turns and walks away. But very sadly, he is still full of admiration for Jesus, but he is unable to accept a claim that to him is incompatible with his Jewish faith. As he would later write, I now realize only God can demand of me what Jesus is asking. That rabbi was right. In that gospel we just heard, the Matthean evangelist portrays Jesus as an even greater Moses. You recall that it was on a mountain that Moses delivered the law of God. And now it's on a mountainside in his Sermon on the Mount that Jesus delivers the new law. When he says, you have learned how it was said to our ancestors, they knew immediately at once that he's referring to Moses and to the law Moses received from God on Mount Sinai. And when he says, but I say to you, they realize at once that he is claiming to be greater than Moses. In fact, he is putting himself on a par with God. He is claiming to speak with the authority of God himself. He is daring to adjust God's law. But it is an adjusting, not a revoking of the law. As Jesus explained, he has come not to abolish the law of the prophets, but to complete them, to reveal their deepest implications, to point to the more demanding virtue that those commandments entail. According to the law, murder is wrong. We know that. Yes, says Jesus, but so is anger, which so easily flares into violence. Indeed, he says it's better not to come to worship if you harbor hatred for a brother or a sister. According to the law, adultery is wrong. We know that. Yes, says Jesus, but so too is looking lustfully at another human being. For that is, at least in intent, a violating of the other. According to the law, lying under oath is wrong. We know that. It's called perjury. Yes, says Jesus, but the fact that oaths are taken at all is a sign of lack of trust and openness. Certainly between Christians, a simple yes or no should be all that needs to be said. Jesus insists that Christian morality means a great deal more than external respectability. Jesus teaches a morality that affects us to the very depths of our being. It goes far beyond simply following the law. Jesus tells us in the end, the whole of the law and prophets hangs on that great double commandment of loving God and loving our neighbor, no matter who or what we think they may be. If you love me, keep my commandments, and all that they entail. It's a hard love. It's a demanding love. It is true, as that rabbi realized, that only God can make the demands Jesus makes of us. But the good news for us today is that as Jesus makes those demands of us, because he is God, he also enables us to live out those demands in our daily lives. In the end, it's only when that great commandment of love is fully understood and then applied as a part of our daily lives that we can authentically live in the truth.